What's going on, guys? Sharpshot here. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. So for today's video, I'm going to be summarizing the main takeaways of DBD's January Q&A. I watched the full hour and a half and took notes on the whole thing so that you guys didn't have to. Here's a list of the things that were touched upon in the Q&A and I'll be going over in this video. So if you wanted more information on a specific topic, you can just skip forward to that timestamp. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first thing that was announced was a nerf to Boon Circle of Healing. They're going to be lowering the bonus heal speeds on all tiers to 65, 70, 75%. And the devs also said that if these heal speed percentages are still too high, they're not going to hesitate to lower them even more. The devs also heavily alluded to having borrowed time as a base kit for survivors. And base kit means that this ability would be on all survivors. It wouldn't be a perk anymore. So this is obviously a huge buff to survivors. I'm curious to see what the killer buff counterpart would be to this. Some pretty sad news coming on the cross progression for console and Switch. The dev said that it takes a ton of work to actually pull off, and they said that there's no timetable for when this will come, if it even ever does come into the game. And they also said that 60 frames per second on console isn't coming for a while, so for at least the next year or so. Unfortunately, console's gonna have to wait a little bit longer for good graphics. Dead Hard is also gonna get a rework in the future. They're planning to improve the hit validation that Dead Hard gets compared to some killer powers like Nemesis's Tentacle Strike, for example. So this will be a more survivor-sided rework, but they're also planning on nerfing the speed boost you get when you initially do your Dead Hard dash. So that's a little bit more of a killer-sided rework. Overall, I think Dead Hard will mostly be nerfed in the future. The biggest topic coming out of this Q&A is the skill-based matchmaking. I was actually shocked when I heard what the devs had to say about SBMM and MMR. The devs are so out of touch with this topic and think SBMM is actually good.
The MMR system itself, the ratings, is absolutely working well.
And because of this, they have no plans to remove it or change the SBMM system. Just a little insight for those of you guys that didn't know. On the survivor side, your matchmake rating goes up or down based on if you escape the trial. And on the killer side, your MMR goes up or down based on how many kills you get in a trial. And the dev's argument for why SBMM is good was a terrible hockey analogy, basically saying that if your team wins, then that means your skill goes up. But in reality, that isn't true, because on the survivor side, you can get completely carried to an escape, and you can also hide all game and just escape at the end of the game having done zero work, and you'll still get ranked higher. And on the flip side, for the killers, you can basically tunnel and face camp your way to free kills, and that doesn't take any skill at all to do. Both of the factors leading to a higher rank on killer and survivor don't actually mean true skill, and the devs do not realize this, which is really concerning. They even put themselves in a deeper hole by saying that the number of hooks actually doesn't count towards a killer's skill. They said that if a killer hooks every survivor twice, but they all escape, that the killer is basically bad, which isn't true at all. And they also said that they won't release the number behind your specific skill-based matchmaking because they think it'll lead to toxicity in the community. The blood point grind was addressed, and the devs actually acknowledged that the BP grind is not fun and it's too much. And they're actually going to be announcing something in the near future to aid in this terrible BP grind. And the devs also mentioned that they've had internal talks with each other about potentially even removing the blood point cap because they don't really see the value behind it at this point. Here are the two interesting statistics that came out of the Q&A. The first figure is the average kill rate for every killer, which is the first percentage on the left, and then every killer's pick rate, which is the black numbers on the right. And they also revealed the highest kill rate map is on Midwich, and the lowest kill rate map is Cowshed. The devs revealed the next killer updates are going to be Ghostface and Legion, which are currently in the works right now and will probably come in the next update in a few months. And they also mentioned that the next killer to probably get a new update is the Twins, which might come maybe in late December of 2022, but there's no timetable at all. I'm just making an assumption. Bots were discussed in the Q&A as well, and they unfortunately said that they have no plans to make custom matches with bots, and if they are going to put those in, it's going to be a very long time, so I wouldn't expect this at all. And they also said that they do not have any plans to put bots to replace replace survivors who DC from the match. Touching upon the health of DBD, the devs said that they have no plans on doing an Operation Health, which, if you guys don't know what that is, basically an update that is solely based on updating the current content in game and making it better, not just pumping out new content every few months like they've been doing. They think they're doing a good job with maintaining the game's health, and they're going to continue pumping out new content like they've always been. On the topic of balancing the survivor side and the killer side, two things came up. A killer sided change that was mentioned is that they might potentially slow down the generator time, so the amount of time it takes to complete a generator. And we don't know how they're going to do that. They might add more perks to slow down gens, or they might just altogether slow down gens. They didn't release any information on that. On a more survivor sided note, they also said that they have a prototype in the works to address phase camping. This is really awesome news, but there is actually a new game mode in the works. The devs don't actually know what that game mode is going to be, or if it's going to be a limited time mode, how long it's going to be in the game. And their one condition for adding this new game mode is that it doesn't lengthen and make the queues longer for the base game modes of killer and survivor. We might see new maps in the future for chapters that happened in the past. I think everybody would want to see an all kill chapter map with Trickster, and the devs said that they could potentially add maps for older chapters in the future. So we're just gonna have to wait and see if that'll ever happen, but it's a possibility. So yeah guys, those were the main takeaways of the DBD January Q&A. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these changes that were mentioned. And yeah guys, that's been the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new. This has been Sharpshaw, and I will see you guys in the next video.